A carer is someone who helps take care of a family member or friend who has a physical or mental disability, an illness, or a substance addiction. Carers are often doing this unpaid and won't identify as a carer themselves due to having a close relationship with this person. The impacts of being a carer can include an emotional, physical, financial, or societal strain. Someone can become a carer at any age, including young children and young people, as well as adults. Every age group can struggle with a different aspect of being a carer. Here are some examples of what a young adult carer might be struggling with. Rachel is 18 years old and has just finished school. She has been helping her mother attend hospital appointments for the past year, as her mother has recently been diagnosed with cancer. Because of this, Rachel missed out on after-school opportunities with her guidance counsellor, so she has had no support on how to write a CV in order to get a job. Who is around to support Rachel? Deji is 25 years old and was a carer for his grandfather, who has recently passed away from dementia. Because he was a full-time carer, he didn't have the opportunity to finish his education or get a job. He now isn't sure what he wants to do for a career and doesn't know where to start. Who's around to support Deji? Misako is 23 years old and her wife has recently lost her job due to unforeseen circumstances. They both help care for their daughter who has cerebral palsy. They no longer have any income and cannot live on Misako's part-time salary, so are struggling financially. Misako has decided she wants to get a degree, but doesn't know how to choose or apply to a university course. Who is around to support Misako? Antonio is 22 and his boyfriend has recently been diagnosed with agoraphobia and is struggling to leave the house. Because of this, Antonio has had to take on a lot more responsibilities on behalf of his boyfriend and is sometimes late to work and has been distracted from his workload. His job has suddenly let him go and he is feeling lost and isn't sure about what to do because he believes that he won't be able to find another job because he has become a carer. Who is around to support Antonio? Ruta is 18 years old and she helps care for her father, who is struggling with an alcohol addiction. She hasn't been able to go to university like some of her friends, and she's struggling to go to social events, as the friends who still live near her are predominantly interested in going clubbing. She isn't able to leave the house for very long, especially at night, because of her caring responsibilities, so feels quite isolated as she can no longer connect with her peers in the way she was before. Who is around to support Ruta? Katrina has recently turned 18. They used to help care for their brother who has Asperger's, but their mum was recently in an accident that has led her to become blind. They are now the primary caregiver in their household. They will not be able to continue in their planned career and will now have to be a full-time carer. However, they are unsure about how they are going to receive any income and don't know much about carers' allowances or any other benefits or support they can receive, especially because they have only recently turned 18. They are also having difficulty in understanding how to pay their rent, tax, and other associated healthcare bills. Who is around to support Katrina? Adiola is 16 years old and is currently being told to choose their A-level subjects for next year. Her younger sister has Down syndrome, and their parents have to look after her very often and often are unable to provide Adiola with additional support. She isn't sure what she's supposed to do and is feeling very lost. Who is around to support Adiola? Tao is 17 and has recently started at a new college. He is supporting his grandmother who's been recently diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. He is being bullied at school, and some of his peers found out about his grandmother and have been making fun of him because of this. Tao wishes he could meet someone else who understands his struggles. Who is around to support Tao? There are many people out there who are struggling with these difficulties and more. What sort of support do you think could benefit them? Rachel would flourish with some understanding from her school teachers. They could give her some additional time and talk her through what her options are after she has finished school. Deji could speak to a job advisor who can help him write a CV or guide him with interview skills. Someone who understands how to apply to universities and write a good personal statement and knows how to manage work and education and home life could give Misako some great guidance. Antonio and Katrina would really benefit from speaking to someone who can talk them through how to apply for carers' allowances, as well as what kind of benefits are out there and what kind of laws have changed for them. What laws now apply to them because they are adults? What protects them when they are at work? What can jobs do for them and give them the appropriate support for their caring responsibilities? Ruta and Tao are struggling with making friends and could really benefit from joining some social groups. The transition period from being a young carer to an adult carer comes with many changes surrounding education, employment, life skills, finance, and socialising. Southend Carers' ambition is to help young adult carers like these. We want to be there for the young adult carers who might be struggling and need some guidance. We want to be there to support their mental and physical health, build social connections, give them a voice, develop strong pathways into adulthood, and allow them to take the reins on their future. So, who produced this video? Me, Victoria. I am a young adult carer myself. When I first started work with Southend Carers as part of my university degree, I wasn't aware that I was a young carer too. When I started to learn about what being a carer entails, it was difficult to come to terms with some of the difficulties that I had experienced and was still struggling with. At times, I would have to answer my phone in the middle of the workday to tend to my brother's needs. I would sometimes be withdrawn and finding it difficult to keep up with my workload. I would also have immense guilt, and I still struggle with calling myself a carer, in fear that my responsibilities are not as extreme as some others. It has taken me a long time to get to where I am today. With the support from Southend Carers, not only as employees, but as understanding individuals, I was able to complete my degree, and I've continued to develop in my career as the young adult carers support worker. A little understanding and some empathy can go a long way, and we want to extend this support to all the other young adult carers in the area.